Hi there ladies, here's a look at that combo that we did today, which had a lot of lovely hip movements in it. We started off with an 8 count of figure eights. Now remember with our figure eight, it's kind of like we're drawing a circle with one side and then drawing a circle with the other side. We were going front to back through the center, front to back through the center. And to make that 8 count, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So basically 2 full 8 diagrams, or you could say right, left, that made the 8 count of our figure eights. The next 8 count was with our Mayas, and we were starting on the right hip as well, because when you finished out that figure eight, you kind of had your weight to the left. So the Maya is the figure eight that goes in that vertical direction instead of horizontal. So we're actually lifting up, out, down, and in through the center. And then on the other side, up, out, down, and in. So again, that one was an 8 count, which would be a right, left. Now we talked about how truly, when you get to that professional dancer level, you want to keep your feet flat on the floor and just have all of the movement in your hips. But considering that we are doing this for fun and to get our bodies moving, we're definitely lifting up our heels while we do it to get a little extra movement going there in our hips. So we did 8 counts of the horizontal figure eights, and then an 8 count of the vertical figure eight. And then the next hip movement was actually to add a layer onto a step, a traveling step called the basic step. Remember with our basic step, we are stepping forward and back on that same foot. So we're kind of putting our weight forward and back, and our other foot is just kind of a recovery foot. It comes off of the floor when our weight is all the way down on our foot that's moving, and it just kind of steps down in the middle just to kind of keep us in place. Now we were turning with it, so when we're turning, say we step forward and back, that standing foot's gonna have to turn just a little bit, like about a quarter of a turn to help us move around. So when I go forward and I lift that foot up, when I set it back down, I'm gonna go ahead and turn it a quarter of turn to step back. And forward and back, forward and back, forward and back. Now the way that we added some hips to this was to shimmy while we were doing that basic step. So if you're not quite there yet, don't worry about it, just do the basic step. But if you can add that shimmy onto it, we are shimmying while we are basic stepping. And the count on this would be 2 8 counts, or 16 if you want to count to 16. I lose track when I go to 16, so I think of it as 2 8s. It would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And now you're back to where you started, and we've just got one last 8 count, and this one's going to be divided up into 2 different directions. So a 4 count in one direction and a 4 count in the other direction. What we're moving with is our one-sided hip lift, or sometimes called a hagala. So when we were doing our Mayas and we were going down, we also talked about an inverted Maya that would scoop out, up, and in. And then it would do the same on the other side. But for this particular step, we're only doing it one-sided. So we're going to use that scooping out, up, and in to help propel us in the opposite direction of the hip that's doing it. So out, up, and in, out, up, and in. And then over here, we switch back to the other side. So it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or that could be the 5, 6, 7, 8. We added just a little bit of arm movements with each of those. When we were doing the figure eights, we were just letting our arms follow where our hips are going. When we were doing the Maya, we were framing our hips and just holding it strong. And when we were doing the basic step, we had our arms in our neutral position where I can see my hands a little bit out in front of myself. They're not way back here. I've got air in the armpits, kind of like I have my hands about to touch a countertop. while we were doing that basic step, we were here. And when we were doing the one-sided hip or Hagala, we were making a vertical line through our body by raising one arm and keeping the other arm down. And then when you switch, we do it nice and pretty past each other and go the other way. Okay? So let's see what all of that looks like to this music. Remember, just like in class, we were able to repeat it 3 times through to the music. And as we were getting ready for the right place in the music, we just did some little hip bumps and things that got our body moving before we were ready to get started.